Tight hips are a common problem amongst people who sit at work. These 5 exercises will help you to restore your natural hip mobility. When you're constantly sitting in this position, your groin tends to get very tight. The groin is all these muscles that are generally inside of the thigh, including the inner hamstring. One that's really simple that you can do to lengthen and strengthen this area, the adductors of the hips, is this pancake stretch. You can start trying to touch your hands down into the floor and progress this ability to your elbows, and then being able to get your head to the ground is one of the markers for a lot of inner hip ability. Another area that gets really tight is the back of the hips. That's going to be the glutes, the piriformis. Great stretch that you can do for this, and it's really simple to do on the ground, is sitting in a 90-90 position, putting one hand on each side of your foot, and you're going to try to get your head to your foot, or if that's too hard, try aiming first, chest to knee. This is going to really open up the glutes and unlock that piriformis muscle, which is another one that gets really tight. And because you're using this as an active stretch, you're also getting stronger, and you want to progress from using 2 hands to 1 hand to then being able to do without hands. This progresses in strength because you're pushing out, you're externally rotating that hip to also strengthen that muscle from a lengthened position. Next, we're going to address the area behind the hips. These are your hamstring muscles, which, as you see here, they get really tight because they're always in this shortened position. So most people just try to kind of touch the toes, which is amazing. I mean, you can start there, but I like to actually add a little bit of a strength component to this. So we're going to add a little bit of tension with the elephant walk. And here you're going to bend the knee and then straighten one leg at a time, making sure to flex the quads. This is really easy to scale because then you just go lower, or you find a target that's a little bit lower. And if you don't have anything that allows you to scale this, you can actually just start kind of further away, lengthening one leg at a time. And then as you get more flexible, you can start bringing your hands closer until you're at your feet. The great thing about this is it also helps you to strengthen your lower back in this flexed position. So a problem that's very common with people who sit at work is tight hip flexors. I notice this in a lot of my clients. One of my favorite ways to address this is to actually get stronger in the hip flexors from a lengthened position. That helps you to make much faster gains when it comes to flexibility. So using a chair, anybody can get started by using upper body assistance. And you're gonna think about keeping this leg engaged and using it to actually help yourself up. So you're kicking it through the ground on the way up. And you can very easily scale this using a staircase, because you go from a more regressed position with the front foot elevated to where there's less stretch on this, and progress to doing it on flat ground. There's a lot more stretch on this. If there's one stretch that 99% of people who sit at work need, it's the couch stretch. And it's a very ironic name because you can actually do this from a couch or chair. So you can start on your knees and bring one foot up. The closer you place your knee to the chair, the more stretch you're gonna get. So being here, you can bring your other foot up and then gently start to posture up. The closer you are to your heel, the more stretch you're gonna get on this as well. And this is getting a big stretch because you're stretching your quads, which are connected to your hip flexors, through the rectus femoris. This is causing a big stretch on the hip flexors and the quads, which both get majorly tight when you're sitting down all day. Using a thick pad makes this a lot more accessible for anybody who has knee pain or has discomfort doing it on flat ground. And I also like to use a stick to kind of push myself further back into that position and get the most out of the stretch. Most people I coach actually can't even start here, so let me show you a good regression for it. Using an incline bench allows gentle progression because you have more control over the angle of the stretch. This gives you a measurable way to progress to being able to do this on a wall. A quick tip to make faster progress in this is to squeeze the quad and the glute, kind of like an isometric strength hold, so that you can make quicker progress in the range of motion. Follow my page for more tips on countering the effects of sitting on your body.